But one of the things that I've been proudest of, quite frankly, was the assistance that we did provide for the doo-wop groups and for the oldies but goodies, as they call them, because so many of these individuals were starving. Okay. All right. I mean, they loved the art, they loved the music, but they couldn't work any longer. And disco just killed so many of them off. And it was not until we, during that same era, came up with this concept of, basically oldies, but we, put more sophisticated titles to it. Okay, adult contemporary. Okay.
But wait, are you really?
So you help usher in like nostalgia era and
or the urban AC category, Amir? I think she's saying that they created the urban AC category.
Yeah, no question. What? Okay, and it was to really provide platforms. We had this event for years until it became too big, quite frankly, for us to handle. I admire the fact that Philadelphia still is able to do this. It's called the Stone Soul Picnic. And the Stone Soul Picnic was only these old groups that, the Ohio Players, all of these groups that had been dormant. Okay. Right. And nobody was buying them. Nobody was sampling them. Okay. Right. Nobody was recognizing them for their brilliance. And we started resurrecting them. And and I kind of stumbled into it after I had created The Quiet Storm, because The Quiet Storm was love music. Love was ballads. And I had to really reach back, right, to eras where lyrics told stories.
You got to tell that story. You need to tell the Quiet Storm
please.
story.
Yeah, where's the explain to us who Melvin Lindsay was and how you guys invented a revolution. You guys basically helped triple the population.
And let me tell you that the main reason I want to write my book is because when WHUR celebrated its anniversary, there were several inaccurate accountings of The Quiet Storm. Number one, Melvin Lindsay was not the originator. Melvin Lindsay was my third.
Whoa!
He was not my first. He was my third. Okay.
Whoa.
Oh. All right. My first was a kid named Don Roberts, who broke my heart because he was the most talented of my first three. But he was good looking, and he said to me, "I got a face for television, Miss Liggins." Okay, because I wasn't even married to Dewey then. He said, "I don't want to be in a radio studio where no one can see me." Sure enough, went on to be a big time anchor in Baltimore, Maryland. Okay, wow. Don Roberts, my first. Okay, my second was a young man named Jack Schuler. Jack Schuler was Melvin Lindsay's best friend. Melvin Lindsay was my intern that I paid out of my pocket. He picked my son up from school. He came because Howard said that they didn't have a budget for interns. And I needed some of the students to actually be in a position to earn some money. So Jack Schuler was vomiting literally after each show or during the show. He was so nervous. He was trembling. He said, "Please don't make me do this no more, Miss Liggins. Please, please. Melvin would do it. Melvin would do it." So Melvin told me he would do The Quiet Storm if I didn't make him open the microphone. So if there were any early tapes that we've been looking for, he would say, "Good evening and welcome to The Quiet Storm." The next time you would hear Melvin Lindsay's voice, he would say, "Thank you for listening to The Quiet Storm." I'm Melvin Lindsay. There was nothing in between from Melvin except the music. Great taste in music. It was my private music collection. All right. And I started it out on Saturday night and then on Sunday. And then I decided that the conception of The Quiet Storm was for a senior to be chosen by the faculty, two seniors, in fact, one for each semester, to give them a commercial experience on their resume. Okay. Mm-hmm. It was never for one person to host the show. It was never supposed. It was supposed to be a rotation opportunity. The closest I came to it was Milton Allen, who was married to Pat Prescott in L.A., Sheila Eldridge, and Gwen Franklin. Those were my three, students that I was able to rotate, Nobody else rotated, People came and got stuff, including Melvin. Well, Melvin did so good that KISS told him that they would give him an opportunity if he would come and be on the air at KISS. So Melvin walks into my office. Now, this, like I told you, he's an intern. I have literally supported him. His parents would say to him, well, you need to ask Miss Liggins first before you do so and so. I had picked his classes for him, the whole 9 yards. He tells me on a Friday that he's got an offer and he's going to work at KISS. And I'm thinking he's talking about after graduation and all this. And I said, when? He said, Monday. I was so irate. I told him to get out of my office.
What?
Yes. So Dewey Hughes, who at that time had 14 Emmys for his productions at WRC NBC, 14 Emmys. He created youth news. He created music videos as quiet as it's kept. Anyway, Dewey comes to my office and he tells me that it's a setup, that NBC just wanted Melvin off the air and that they had him in the mail room. And would I please bring him back? And I said, bring him back. And he said, let me take you to dinner and talk to you about this. Well, ultimately, Dewey and I got married and Melvin came back. And years later, years later, I never will forget, we were at this big affair and Melvin was being honored. And I was in the audience with Dewey, and Melvin didn't acknowledge the fact that I was even in the audience. And Dewey had torn his Achilles tendon playing basketball. He was on crutches. He went up to the head table on crutches. He grabbed Melvin Lindsay around the neck, and he said, I'm married because of you. And you don't even acknowledge her.
Wow.
Livid. And Melvin went back to the microphone. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know she was here. I didn't know. He grabbed him right in front of the whole room. It was hilarious. Wow. Because that's how Dewey and I ended up getting married. The reason my name is Cathy Hughes was because he brought Melvin Lindsay back.
How did you get Melvin out of his shyness? Because I didn't know Melvin Lindsay as a radio personality. I knew him as, when we first got cable,
Me too.
I knew Melvin Lindsay as a news personality. So,
Angela
and
Stribling.
at that, the way, Angela Stribling and Melvin Lindsay, and he was like the thoughts that I have of Melvin
Mr.
Lindsay
personality, right?
It was almost like he was like Brian Gumble-ish, and I'm like, wait a minute, you were a Quiet Storm guy, and
so sexy, and I was too young to even know it. So,
I was like, how did you?
And did the song come before the show?
I cannot take full credit for getting him out of his shell. Number one, Melvin was introduced to the gay lifestyle I also had the distinction of hiring the first openly gay air personality, Robin Holden.
Yes, Robin.
Washington D.C. Robin Holden. I had to talk in code back in those days. She said the children will be meeting this Friday night at so and so. She would talk in code, and Howard University was up my rear end. Are you out of your mind?
Conservative, right?
Executive, conservative, homophobic, all of that. And at the same time, I'm getting all these rave reviews from the because DC, as quiet as it's kept, is a big gay and lesbian city.
Shut up.
All right. For many decades. And so Robin was an incredible air personality. All right. And she helped Melvin come out of his shell because I think that she made him comfortable with his sexuality. She made him feel that it was okay because Melvin was very closeted at that time, which contributed to his, he was engaged. I bought the engagement ring for a young lady, and she left him because she recognized that he wasn't comfortable with her. But during those times when Melvin was quiet and withdrawn and wouldn't open the microphone, his show was almost like a black muzak. And so it grew in popularity. We didn't have any commercials because it was a student shift. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we became number one in a matter of like 18 months. We went from no listeners to being number one in the market because Melvin wouldn't open the mic and I had no commercials. So it was nonstop love.
Music. Wow.
Okay.
Love mixtape.
Music. The theme of Philly International, there's a message in our music. Okay. We believed in that. And the message was one of love and affection and attention. And so Melvin blossomed and went on to become an incredible personality, incredible. He grew into himself. He got comfortable with himself. Deanna Williams was very much a part of his growth and development. Okay, because he realized that he could be loved regardless of his sexuality, his sexual preference had no bearing on his talent. And he really, really, really blossomed and became this incredible television and radio personality, and died too soon, too early.